Yo, what's good, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry Sisters review. This is season 5, episode 6, entitled Keep It 100. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, you already know what it is and what it always will be. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe if that's what you choose to. If not, just sit back, relax, and we're going to get into this thing. I will not be going in chronological order. With most of these episodes, I probably will not be going into chronological order just to, let you guys know for future references. So we're going to start with Calvin and Elemento P. Fill in the blank. You already know the next alphabet. Calvin walks in and sees Alphabet lounging on the couch. Of course, Calvin is shocked because he changed the locks. Then he proceeds to say, I already beat your ass once. I said, what? When? I think we can all agree that Calvin hasn't beat not Nan ass. I don't think Calvin could beat an ass if it was naked. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm just sick of them. I'm just sick of them. I'm gonna just say this. I'm leaving the Karen reading the letter part to the very end. That was probably my favorite part of the episode for several reasons, and we will get into that when we get to that. I'm just so sick of Calvin and this repetitive dialogue. How can you live with yourself? He fine. Q is living well. He is not paying rent. He's eating food. He has air conditioned cable. All his necessities are being taken care of by you and Maurice. So I think Alphabet is doing great, my friend. So we get to Madam, Andi, Fatima, Angela. And let me just say, Angela got on my damn nerves. I wasn't a fan of her in this episode. Now, the interesting thing is for those of us who watch Fatima, we have not seen this side of her personality because normally she was very much so Fatima's peace or trying to keep the peace. But on Sisters, she was very much an instigator. So we see Madam, you know what I'm saying? Madam came in last episode and Madam opens up with basically, like, Fatima, what do you want? Which let me know that Fatima only calls Madam for favors. Sounds a little bit like Andi, huh? Mm-hmm. Andi got on my nerves. Andi was acting all like green and airheadish around, Madam all skittish. And I'm like, girl, what is wrong with you? Like, you make me think you was an op just by the way you acting. So Madam let her know that she was a gangster. And she almost had to check Andi when she thought Andi was attempting to judge her. Long story short, Andi finds out that it was Madam who orchestrated Hayden's assault. And she says, that was you? I said, strike one. Then when Madam gets her the information on Sabrina, she asks, who's your contact? I said, that's strike 2 and 3. That's none of your business, Andi. Sit down, say thank you for the favor, and shut up. Asking too many questions is how people get killed. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said Andi doesn't understand street code. She doesn't understand street ethics. And I'm looking at Fatima a little sideways because I'm like, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like they were in such a pickle. Of course, they didn't know what was going on with Sabrina. But for her to bring out Madam for this, I was like, Fatima, you dead ass wrong. And I think Madam figured it out too because she was like, oh, that's all you need? Oh, bet. Got you. You know what I'm saying? I got you, sis. And Madam was already up on game. She already knew it was Sabrina Hollins. She already had her stuff on point, which that's just how Madam is. She's an on point person. So Madam finds out that Andi is a lawyer. And she was like, oh yeah, I could use you. Then we find out, no, baby, she's a divorce attorney. Madam was like, shit, I can't do nothing with that. I holler. Let me just say, I love Eva. I love Eva's portrayal of Madam. It's spectacular. I think this is my favorite role I've seen her in. She is killing it. I love her in All the Queen's Men. And I'm not a big fan of crossovers because the girl who plays Angela was also in All the Queen's Men and she played a completely different character. Like, Tyler gets me with these crossovers. Like, I understand the purpose, but when you have these different characters playing two different people, it doesn't help with continuity, and it really just messes with my damn mind because I can't keep them straight. But anyway, So Deja begins to play her music incredibly loud, and Madam tells Fatima that she needs to go handle it, which is exactly what I said in my review of the trailer breakdown. I was like, Madam would just tell her, you need to go handle that, sis. Like, that's trivial for Madam. And so Fatima tells her, I did. And Madam lets her know that you obviously did not. So they all get up and they walk over to Deja's house. Now, when they get there, now Deja, I think she was the only person who made me laugh this episode. So Deja comes out and she talking cash money. Then when Madam taps her, she finally turns around and she's like, oh, Madam. And she was like, yeah, the one and only. So Deja was very aware of Madam's reputation. And she was like, well, so what have you heard about me? She was like, things. Then she was like, well, I was trying out for this role and it was hilarious. I believe the woman who plays Deja is a comedian, and it really showed. It was exemplified on last night's episode. I chuckled. I was like, this is hilarious. Now let me get on Fatima and Angela ass, okay? We saw Madam walk 2-3 steps to Deja's door. Why the hell did Angela and Fatima walk all the way around that small ass driveway just to get to the door? I said, now that made me laugh. I don't even know if it was intentional or what. I know Tyler directed it, so it was all his fault. But it was absolutely hilarious. It was hilarious. So basically, Madam threatened Deja, and she let her know, like, I don't play about my money, I don't play about my business or my blood, and that's my blood. And she was like, that's your cousin? That's your cousin, huh? Tima. And Fatima was like, girl, I don't even know you like that. She was like, Fatima, I said, this girl is crazy. This woman is crazy. But Madam let her know, I ain't coming back over here, but I send somebody for you. Oh, I make that happen. And all them speakers and all that stuff you got, you're going to be coming out in the coffin. I said, well, damn, a coffin, Madam? Deja didn't do nothing that was worth for her getting killed. Maybe slapped, but killed? No. So we see Robin in Paris, and I was happy to see our boy Paris. I think he is so fine. He is so fine to me. Miss seeing him on screen. So Robin asked him if are you Paris the janitor? I'm like, duh, Sherlock. Don't you see him emptying out your trash? I was like, Tyler, don't do this. Don't make Robin stupid. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. And so Robin asked if he knows Andi. His follow-up question was how well. And then the next question was, has Paris ever taken her out? And some people asked, why did Paris lie? And he didn't lie, in my opinion. He has never taken Andi out. They basically met up with each other at the gay bar. They had sex thereafter. And she invited him over to meet her at her house, which is where he got into the fight with Gary. But other than that, they have never been out at all. Or he has never taken her out. And so Paris tell Robin that Andi is out of his league. Like, no, I've never taken her out. She's out of my league. So I guess that made Robin feel a little good or whatnot. I don't know. But Paris kept it a G. You don't kiss and tell. And I think the thing that gets me with a lot of men on this show is how much they brag on their penises, whether they're either lying or telling the truth. Is like, and we see this in society, especially on social media, where all these men, these celebrities coming out talking about who they've been with and when. It's like, what? Are you serious? Like, you can't talk about women. Like, the women keeping it more G than a lot of these men are. I'm like, nah, bro. But anyway, we get to Logan and Danny. Cringe fest. Because he was buying the drinks, he feels that he is entitled to get some. So Danny tells him, like, but I'm not that kind of woman. And I'm like, actually, yeah, you are, sis. You're definitely that kind of woman. Respectfully, you're that kind of woman. Danny should have left so many times during their time at the bar. It was just ridiculous. Danny tells him that she needs to see some ID, and he tells her to get it from his wallet, which is located in his front pocket. I said, Danny, if you don't get the hell up and walk the hell away. But she didn't. And she takes this creep back to her house. I said, you know what? I just, and I told you I'm trying to do something different. I have to stay upbeat and humored, because I will despise doing these reviews, because the way that Tyler writes these women, and we see him give speeches all the time, and how much he claims to adore and esteem and uplift black women, yet the characters he writes, they're not a reflection of how he say he feels about black women. It's completely contrary. And I'm like, look at Danny. Danny is such a hypocrite. A lot of the women on the show are, but she ridiculed Andi for having sex with Gary while Sabrina is in jail. They don't know what's going on. You're on this date trying to get your rocks off too while Sabrina is in jail. So what makes your situation any different from Andy's? Like, that's why I always say when it comes to Danny, Danny is the sister I had to grow to like, because I did not like her the first couple seasons of Sisters. Like, I always say we have a love-hate relationship, because I really did not like her character, because Danny is, to me, one of those people who can dish it out, who can say whatever the hell she wants to say and feels entitled to it. But when it comes back on her, she can't take it. And she feel like it's a dig or people are downing her. And it's like, no, sis, it's the truth. You real flaky about your stuff right now, and the people who you're choosing to date. Now, when they get to her house, the first thing he says is, "Where your bed at?" I said, "Oh, hell no." He reminded me of this dude that I went out with a long time ago, and he gave me creep vibes. Like, we were cool. And the moment we get to the house, he like creep went to like 100%. And I'm like, oh, hell no, you got to get out. Like, you got to leave. And I'm one of those people, when I feel a way, I have to express it. You can't state, no, we ain't doing nothing. And as much as I wanted to, the moment I had the thought that this man is a creep, like there is something wrong here, you got to go. I don't care how horny I am. It didn't go down that night. But unlike Danny's ass, okay, so they begin to kiss. And basically they asked me, like, what you look like underneath your clothes. This man says that he said something along the lines like he is a gentle flower or something like that. And I'm like, what the hell is that? A gentle, delicate rose. That's what he said. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I didn't know how delicate he was. So as they're kissing, Danny begins to like tap or rub, or, because it wasn't like a massage, his private area. And all of a sudden, we begin to see his body shudder and shake as if he was about to, Danny recognized what was going on, and she stopped. And he said, "Why'd you stop?" "I was so close." I said, "Mother trucker, close to what? Close to what? You was about to bust from the..." I said, nah, Logan. I mean, not Logan. Jonah. I'm gonna need you to stop. I think I called him Logan earlier, but y'all know his name Jonah. Jonah, baby, let me tell you something. It ain't nothing worse. Let me just go on record and say to the men, there is nothing worse than a thirsty ass man. There is nothing worse than a thirsty ass man who's bragging on his penis and is a preemie. And in the words of Janet Jackson and Regina King, y'all know what a preemie is. A 2-minute brother. Jonah ain't even 2 minutes. Jonah ain't even 15 seconds. If a Pat brought you that close, you wouldn't even know what to do when you got in there, my dude. I'm just sorry. But I said, Tyler, you're funny for that one, because I forgot. That made me laugh. I laughed my ass off with that one. I said, I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. And I pray I never do, because if I do, I will not be able to contain my laughter if I ever came across a man like that. And I'm sorry if you are a man listening to this and that is your problem. Prayers to you, respectfully, but I can't mess with you. I'm sorry. But I was not expecting that from Jonah, and I was thoroughly entertained, but I was thoroughly disgusted by his ass too. I'm just saying. So let me just say, I do respect Danny's honesty. She told him that, she was trying to have, a hot girl summer. And that's just what she wants. She wanted a rotation. And I'm going to group this together too, because I did see some comments, and everybody who comment on my page, I like what you say. I do read everything. I may not agree with what you say, but I will like your comment, because I appreciate you taking the time to comment, and I do appreciate it greatly. But I saw a lot of people not a lot. There were a few people who was calling Andi a slut, a whore, all these degrading names. Now, let me say, do I consider Andi to be those things? I do not. The same way I do not consider Danni to be those things. I believe that if it is that woman's prerogative, if it's that woman's choice to have sex with multiple people, then that's her business. Now, before there was a hot girl summer, I was living that type of lifestyle. But also I was a type of individual where if I was dealing with multiple people, it wasn't no like rotation. It wasn't like 5 at a time or nothing like that. I had a few. Less than 5, more than 1. You can decide the number for yourself. But I was always honest. If I was just dealing with one person, I let him know you are the only person that I'm dealing with at this time. If I was dealing with multiple people, I let them know that no, you are not the only one. But what I can tell you is that I am protecting myself. And if I was having unprotected sex with someone during that time where it was multiple, it was only one of them. I'm just being real about myself. So I don't look at those women as being whores and sluts and stuff like that. I feel like they're grown, and neither one of those women are committed to anybody. Now, there is a difference when you have committed yourself to someone and you choose to step out of that relationship, and then you come back and giving them diseases and stuff like that, which we gonna get into that when we get into this letter. But I don't view them that way. I view them as messy as hell, and I view them as sloppy, because for these women to be 36, 37 years old, the fact that you have such a childish mentality when it comes to who you let slide in between your thighs, that's a problem. Now, that needs to be checked, but I'm not going to degrade them because they're making a decision to sleep with different men. It's just that they are incredibly sloppy with it. Now, I was young doing my thing, but I knew that, I think I owe it to this person to be honest with them because I want them to be honest with me. And I had that. Don't get me wrong, some of them niggas lied. I'm trying not to say the N word. I was doing so good, but I had a flashback. But I understand, you know what I'm saying? I do understand. So Andi gets a call from Andi gets a call from Robin. And basically Robin is trying to apologize, or he's trying to meet with her because after he talked with Paris, he's starting to feel a little guilty about what he did. Now, the reality is, of course, we all know that Andi did in fact have sex with Paris. However, that's none of Robin's business. And I hate the way that Tyler White, the men on this show, because why are you entitled to my sexual history when I don't know yours? Why is my sexual history a concern for you? You're not my man. You're not even a prospect. You're just someone I had fun with. You don't need to know anything other than the fact that I'm good and you're good. That's it. So I don't know. I don't like it, but you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And she basically was like, no, if it's not about work, I don't need to meet with you. If is this about work? No, it's not. Okay, well, I'm about to get off the phone. Well, I'm going to be at such and such. Meet me if that's not work. So no, I won't be doing it. But in good old Andi fashion, I would not be surprised if she did meet up with Robin and they run it back. Because what I will say about Andi and a lot of the other women on this show is that when they are emotionally unstable, which is all the damn time, they seek out comfort and pleasure in sex. And unfortunately, most of them don't care where it comes from. That's an issue. So Paris left Andi a message. Andi gets it. She calls him. Now, one thing I did not like is Andi's attitude toward Paris, because Paris has never disrespected her. Paris could have called her out. He could have told Robin the absolute truth, but he did not. He protected her reputation, and she calling him like she got a damn attitude with him. And I'm like, Andi, you got some damn nerve, because let's not act like you wasn't having sex on his mama couch. Okay? Let's not do that. I got a song for that too. I got a perfect song for that. I'm gonna start putting music in my reviews because I am like a human jukebox. I got like hundreds of thousands of songs in my head, and I got the perfect song to go with this. But I just didn't like her attitude with Paris after what he did for her. Okay, so I think that's everything I got. So let me just say, now mind you, because I know things are about to get a little heated when I get to this. Now, you can disagree with me respectfully, all right? actually, I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts, because this is my favorite part of the episode, because it wasn't like, I mean, things were happening, but it wasn't a lot happening in this episode. I was upset that we only got to one letter, but that's in typical Tyler fashion. We have been in this scene for 4 damn episodes. All right, I had to get that out. Thank you guys for letting me get that out. Now, I said all that to say, this is my opinion, and this is not to take away from any other person on this show. But for me, for Alicia, for Hustle Queen Lee, Ebony Obsidian is the best actor on this show. Just, to me, hands down. Hands down. That young woman has the ability to provoke emotion from me over a storyline that I don't give a damn about. When I say I don't care who's the father of Karen's baby anymore, when I say I don't give a damn who Karen decides to be with, who she will be with, whether she ends up with Aaron or some new guy we haven't even met, my connection to this has been sour a long time ago, okay? But she made me care. The way that Ebony portrayed Karen in this scene, it made me care. Now, I know because there are a lot of people in the SISTAS fandom who don't like Karen. I can understand where you guys may be coming from too, and that's great, because I do want to hear what you have to say. But I think the beauty of what we saw was, because Tyler wrote it, you know what I'm saying? I think this was a great interpretation of someone who is emotionally broken. Not a woman or a man, but just someone who is emotionally broken. Now, we have heard Zach tell Karen how he feels about her several times. The one time I can remember vividly is when he was telling her how it made him feel when he used to see her get up and go to work and he couldn't do nothing. And a lot, to me, and this is just my personal opinion, a lot of the times when Zach says things, it sounds like an excuse or a justification for his F-boy tactics. Not saying I haven't agreed with him on a lot of things, but I feel like a lot of the things that he says are excuses and justifications for what he did. Now, I also know, because it has been in my comments under certain videos, people will say, well, yeah, people tend to downplay the things that Zach did. Now, this is not no Zach bashing, and I'm not blaming everything on Zach. Just go with me on this journey. People will say, yes, he cheated on her, but or he cheated on her, but she, no. Let's just stop right there. When you talk about he cheated. Now, someone commented in one of my last videos, and they were saying that they don't feel that Karen ever loved Zach. And I said, I disagree with that. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. What we saw was a man and a woman who loved each other and who were in love with each other, but they were toxic because they refused to deal with a lot of the emotional baggage and psychological baggage that they brought into their relationship. Karen was somewhat damaged, and I'm sure Zach was somewhat damaged too, from his family, from being in jail, and everything that he has dealt with along his own personal journey. But I think to downplay the fact that he cheated, and I think, and so for me, and also what I said it was, I believe that the audience, we have been at a disadvantage when it comes to Karen and Zach, because when the show premiered, we were welcomed into their world while they were on the ends of their relationship. When I'm already fed up, I'm already so hurt, I'm already so disappointed. Now you're just getting the wrath of what's left over, because I gave you everything and I ain't got nothing to give you but my ass to kiss. I have nothing to give you but these sweet words that have turned sour. And I believe that's what we see. We didn't get to see Zach and Karen being happy. We didn't get to see Zach and Karen in their honeymoon state. We didn't get to see the lovey-dovey stuff between them. We didn't get an opportunity. We were not privy to that. We were not fortunate to see that. Now, on the other hand, we see Zach with Fatima. There is no doubt in my mind that what we see for Zach and Fatima is what it was for Zach and Karen. Then some people may say, well, all she did was talk down on him. No, that's what I would say when we were brought into their world. This is where they were. So the fact that Zach cheated, the fact that Zach cheated with the stripper, and for those who don't know or who don't watch Zatima, Heather's child is Zach's. And that came from a moment in time where I guess he and Karen were on a break. He had unprotected sex with this woman and got her pregnant unbeknownst to him. But what we saw in Zatima, also for those who can be real and keep it a buck, keep it 100, as the title of this episode states, it didn't take Zach much to go out and F up. Because on Zatima, now granted, Fatima wasn't all the way honest with, she wasn't honest with Zach. He got upset, he went out, and he could have had sex with Deja if he wanted to, which he wanted to. He was intoxicated. He had this woman dancing all up on him, grinding all up on him. If it wasn't for Angela's boyfriend, his name escapes me right now, but the Asian guy, I don't know if he's Asian. Angela's boyfriend, bisexual boyfriend. Okay. If it wasn't for him, I believe that Zach and Deja would have got it on because he's attracted to her. He's sexually attracted to her. However, that's just my point. Like, we get to see so many things. And I always used to say the same things that people down Karen for are the same things that they applaud Fatima for. Oh, Fatima holds Zach accountable. Oh, with Karen hold him accountable, she's nagging. She's being disrespectful. People love to say, she threw out his grandfather's ashes. Let's get that clear. Karen did not throw out ashes. It was Zach's grandfather's belongings, not ashes. Those are two different things. Now, we want to talk about ashes. Those Fatima's ass who destroyed Hayden's father's ashes. People drugged Karen when they thought it was Zach grandfather ashes, but applauded Fatima when she destroys Hayden's father. It was a lot. And it was a lot. Like I said, I know this part could be heated. That's why I wanted to save it to the last, for it to be the last thing I talked about. And so when Karen began to read her letter, to Aaron, I thought it was very honest. I thought it was very sincere. It was her feelings. Whether people like it or not, that was Karen's feelings. Unadulterated, uncompromised, non-watered down. This is what it is, straight, no chaser, no filter. This just is what it is. And like I said, a lot of the things that she said, we know that she loves Aaron, but she's not in love with him. And I think one of the realest things that now, yes, she calls Zach a fool and all that stuff. Those her feelings, those his feelings. But the one thing that I thought was such a hard hitting and such a real moment is when she told Aaron how much she loves him. But because of the damage and because of what she's been through, she cannot show him how she feels about him, and she doesn't know if she's ever going to be able to. Like, I listened to other reviewers or whatever, and a lot of them don't like Karen. Like I said, I get it. So I think the perception is skewed from, though this is a real thing. And so I got a lot of questions about why I think Zach was crying. And I read some of the comments on the sisters' pages on Facebook and things of that nature. But for me, the reason why I feel like Zach was crying is because I feel like this was one of the first times, if not maybe the first time, that he really understood what his actions did to this person. And like I said, this is not to blame him because at any time Karen could have left. But the reality is we get in these relationships and we have blind hope, meaning he's going to change. She's going to change. If I just hang in there, if I just keep doing what I'm doing, he ain't going to cheat no more. He ain't going to do this no more. He's going to be good. And then we see that person make a little change. And that little change in our minds is a big thing when it's really something so small. And then they go back to doing what they're doing. And I saw some people say, well, maybe it was the way Karen was talking to him that made him go cheat. Really? I mean, we can go with that. We could go with that if we choose to. I choose not to go with that. I just choose not to go with that. Because like I said, we saw as a team, it didn't take much for Zach to go out there, get drunk, have a shorty grinding up on him. However, and this is just me, Zach ain't changed that much to me. The only thing that has changed about Zach is his money. He's still the same Zach to me. And I feel like that's the reason why he was crying. Because like, this is reality. This is what my actions have done. And in reality, I would love to hear Zach's response about the thing, what Karen may have said that may have triggered something in him too, because they both played a part in the demise of their relationship. But I just feel like especially women, so many women like harp and dog on Karen, but yet just completely excuse what Zach has done. And I'm just not one of those reviewers to do that. I'm not a Karen basher. I'm not a Fatima basher. I'm not a Zach basher, even though I can't stand his ass. I don't like Zach. I've never been a fan. However, I could understand how he may feel about certain things, like all that getting up and I'm going, like he just immature. Then he calls Fatima when, I guess, after Karen has her breakdown with Aaron. You know what I'm saying? He calls Fatima and man, she blaming everything on me. I said, boy, a lot of it is your fault. A lot of it is your fault. But she's not blaming everything on you. She's getting out her feelings. You told her several times how you feel about another woman. She had to take it. Karen got that comeback out this world because I don't know how many times I could take a man telling me he don't want me no more. You know what I'm saying? And even though it was honesty, I just feel like the way that Tyler has written Karen is such a disservice to the character. It's such a disservice to the storyline, and it's such a disservice to show women in general, that you can move forward. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say everybody who's listening to me has been hurt emotionally. I don't know that. But coming from someone who has dealt with heartbreak, who has dealt with disappointment, where Karen is a really dangerous place. However, the fact we're getting to see that she is acknowledging some things, like the fact that she was using Aaron. She was like, I didn't want to, but I know there were times that I did, and I know you felt it too. And then we also got to deal with Aaron. Like, I understand you want this woman, but when someone is blatantly using you, bruh, I'm going to need you to pull up your big boy pants and move on. Or give her space. Because even you could tell he still want to be with her. Like, I think it's worth the try. Worth the try? Karen is not in the place to try anything with you. Karen needs space. Karen needs to deal with her emotional state. Because sadly, of course, she still wants Zach. You know what I'm saying? She still loves Zach, which that probably won't go away for a while. I know he loves her too. But I feel like she's still in love with him. And she needs to deal with that. Minus, you know what I'm saying, without a man in her life. That's just me. But I really loved that. It was quick, but I liked it because I felt that it was the realest thing, the realest moment, the realest scene that happened in last night's episode. It just hit a spot for me when you're overcoming hurt, because when you're in that place, you feel like, man, I ain't gonna never find nobody else. I don't know how I'm gonna get over this. I can't eat stuff, and everything is going wrong. But the reality is, when you do the proper healing, however you choose to heal, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, you can recover from that damage. And that is something that I do want to see. Because even with Zach is damaged too. Zach just, and no, I'm not downplaying Zach and Fatima's relationship, because we know on Fatima they are engaged. But Zach has not effectively dealt with the demise of his relationship with Karen. Him and Karen was over. He immediately jumped to some new coochie. We just gonna keep it a buck, keep it 100. He quickly jumped to something new. All of a sudden, that's his girl. She give you a couple affirmations and you just so in love, okay? He hasn't dealt with this demise of this relationship, but he's so quick to say we were together for 3 years. Stuff just don't go away. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot there. It's a lot to uncover. I just think Tyler dropped the ball with that. Nobody want to see Karen and Zach together. That's just downright what it is. But it would have been great to see these people actually move on in a healthy way, instead of just, hopping on another penis or slide up in some other woman and say we're in a relationship now. Oh, Fatima showed me things. What she shows you? I don't get it. That's just me. And I hate the fact that we're able to see Zach move on and Karen remain in this sunken place. I hate it. I absolutely hate that for her character. I hate that for what it shows women, and not that I believe women should base their life or their experiences or their own, I guess, perception on these characters as entertainment. But it would be great to see something positive come from these women. Any one of them. Take your pick, Tyler. I mean, just any one of them. And I had some people that was like, well, Fatima gave him so much encouragement. And I said, miss me with that. Because how many episodes has it been in Fatima or Sisters have you heard Fatima give a positive word to Zach? I ain't talking about in the beginning when she was getting that new She was getting her back blown out in the shower and all of that good stuff. Recently. Nah, Fatima been calling his ass out. And I'm going to just be honest. I know people don't want to hear it. I don't care. The way Fatima has been talking to Zach lately, it ain't that much of a difference in what Karen did. People just don't want because, that's my Fatima, my dog, whatever. She's still abusive in ways. And there was a guy who commented, and I'm going to get out of here because I see how long I've been talking. There was a guy who commented, and I appreciate you, bro, so much, and I don't remember your name, and I was trying to find your comment, but I appreciated what you said as a man. The scene where Fatima told Zach that she was going to knock the shit out of him or something like that. And he was like, as a man, that is something I would never put up with. For a woman telling me that she's going to put her hands on me, that's abusive behavior. But we brush it off because it's Fatima. We brush it off because it's Fatima and Zach. That's what they do. I hate seeing Zach act like he's scared of Fatima. I hate it. It boils my blood. I hate it, but that's just the way that Tyler has written it. And I love engagement. I love talking to people. I love that when we can have honest conversations, not this stuff we gonna sweep over because that's my girl. And for those who have been listening to me do these sisters reviews, you know full well I was a full like Karen, my favorite. She's still my favorite. I even don't really got no favorites, but if I had to pick, she's still my favorite. Even all the crazy mess she's doing, I still rock with Karen, but at the same time, it don't mean I'm gonna still call her out. I've been chewing Karen ass up because she been acting crazy as hell the way Tyler been writing this girl. But I said all that to say, if you gonna comment, respect me, respect everybody else. Disagree all you want to. I ain't saying you can't disagree, but please don't get to the point where you know what I'm saying crazy stuff to people. I don't like that. That's not what this page is. Or this channel is. And so at the end of it, we see Fatima pop up, which I'm glad she showed up because I want her to be present when Karen reads this letter, even though y'all know I'm not a fan of this whole sit down anyway, but just to see what happens. I saw the preview. Karen was yelling to everybody get out. I said, shit. Tyler, please end this vicious cycle. God, my God, okay, I'm not gonna go there because I'm trying to be positive and funny and humored and upbeat. But thank you guys for listening. If you made it all the way through, I appreciate you. Until next time, y'all be safe out there. I will holler at y'all later.